In 1957, three miners descend deeper into a tunnel within a mine. One of them, named Churchill, eagerly photographs everything around him with his new camera. Suddenly, a woman's voice calls his name from the depths. At that moment, another miner notices a strange creature on the cave wall, resembling a giant reptile. As he tries to get a better look, the creature spits a burning, poisonous slime into his face. Screaming in pain, he realizes something terrible is happening and urges his companions to flee as the skin on his face peels off in shreds, causing him unbearable agony. The second miner manages to push Churchill out, but he himself cannot escape. The monster grabs his leg and drags him deeper into the underground. To prevent the unknown creature from reaching the surface, Churchill throws dynamite into the passageway. A powerful explosion follows. Decades later, a young woman performs a sensual pole dance, delighting an older man who is eager to get to know the beautiful performer better. However, she turns out to be a journalist conducting a secret investigation aimed at exposing a corrupt mayor. Hunter Hazelton's article becomes a sensation, earning her the title of Reporter of the Year. At the celebration party, she encounters her ex-boyfriend and colleague Declan and his new girlfriend Annie, who envies Hunter's success and snidely hints at the indecency of her methods. However, Hunter, known for her sharp wit, gives Annie a worthy retort, leaving her speechless. Hunter's father and sister Haley come to congratulate her. The elderly man criticizes her revealing outfit, used to gather information, but approves of the investigation itself. Hurt by her father's words, Hunter shares her feelings with cameraman Cam. She sacrificed her family for her career, and now, having reached the top, feels empty inside. Cam comforts her and leaves, while Hunter notices the bartender Frank's interested gaze and spends the night with him. The next morning, miner Kerry Burns wakes up in his car by the ocean, wishes his daughter's photograph good morning, and heads to work at the mine. At the same time, the elderly Churchill arrives at his secluded home, prepares some mechanisms, and leaves, abandoning his old camera. That same morning, Hunter and Cam rush to the opening of a new mine to produce an exclusive report. A Russian-American group of scientists has developed an innovative drilling laser, and Hunter intends to interview its creators. However, Annie and Declan arrive earlier, and the cunning Annie gets rid of the passes issued to their colleagues, her competitors. Meanwhile, an old miner named Churchill arrives at the site. Upon discovering the missing passes, Hunter creates a small incident, accidentally spilling coffee on Cam. Under the pretext of needing to freshen up, they are allowed into the restroom. While Cam is busy cleaning his clothes, Hunter finds Kerry in the showers and explains the situation, asking for his help to get to the laser generator demonstration site. Kerry, who likes Hunter, agrees to lead them there, deciding to stay in the mine longer just to see the girl who has caught his attention again. Groups of journalists descend to the testing site, where the demonstration is conducted by Kennedy, an assistant to the Russian scientist Nikolai. In the middle of the laser demonstration, while Nikolai explains the working principle, Churchill appears. With a pistol in hand, he demands that the experiment be stopped, claiming that this part of the mine must not be disturbed. He tells the story of a horrifying creature dwelling in the depths, which killed his friends many years ago, and explains that he has been guarding the mine ever since to prevent further deaths. To show he is serious, he reveals explosives. All of this is broadcast live. Suddenly, a strange noise rises from the depths, and Annie's cameraman falls through the ground. Kerry and Cam try to pull him out, but something drags him down. Realizing the creature has awakened, Churchill detonates the explosives. After the explosion, a giant monster with tentacles emerges from the mine and snatches one of the survivors. Meanwhile, Kerry manages to lead Hunter into a part of the underground that survived the blast. There, they examine Churchill's case, discovering a pistol, a flashlight, connecting cables, and photographs of the miner's long-deceased comrades. This meager set of items is all they have for survival and to fight the unknown creature. Hunter immediately grabs the pistol, confident in her shooting skills. Kerry reports that no other survivors have been found and that they can only rely on each other. In another intact tunnel of the mine, Cam, Annie, Declan, and Nikolai, with his assistant Kennedy, find themselves trapped. A conflict flares up among the journalists over Annie not knowing the name of the deceased cameraman. As the group argues, the Russian engineer dies from injuries sustained in the explosion. Meanwhile, Kerry and Hunter move through the tunnel in search of an exit. Kerry reminisces about his college days when he was a promising football player and caught the attention of the college queen, who later became his wife. However, an injury ended his sports career. Their family life didn't work out, and after their daughter was born, they divorced. Now his bad leg makes it difficult for him to walk properly. As they talk, the pair approach the entrance to a mysterious cave. However, a river of lava blocks the way. Despite the danger, Hunter starts crossing by clinging to the rocky ledges along the wall. At one point, she loses her grip, but Kerry manages to catch her just in time. Even while dangling over the lava, the reporter maintains a positive attitude. Eventually, Carrie succeeds in swinging her onto a flat ledge by the cave entrance. At the same time, in the second group, the pessimistic Declan predicts everyone's imminent death, irritating his companions. Meanwhile, Hunter and Carrie find themselves in a spacious chamber with a stone altar at its center and strange symbols on the walls. Hunter suggests that it is a place of worship for a monstrous deity to which sacrifices were made. Spotting human remains in the corner, she concludes that the victims were innocent girls who possibly didn't die immediately during the rituals, but instead turned into something more. Elsewhere in the cave, while Declan and Annie bicker, Cam and Kennedy develop a plan to clear the debris. Kennedy claims she can create a device similar to the one they were supposed to test. Annie volunteers to help her, while the men go off in search of other survivors. Declan remains skeptical and doesn't believe in rescue, whining constantly and annoying Cam. Back in the altar chamber, Hunter enthusiastically documents the hieroglyphs on the walls, while Carrie expresses his dissatisfaction with her recklessness. Suddenly, a strange sound draws their attention, and a skull drops to Hunter's feet, detached from the body of a girl previously chained to a throne. As she studies the find, an unknown attacker lunges at Carrie. Hunter fires her pistol at him, and the attacker falls dead. Upon inspecting the body, they discover a strange growth on its back, an enormous parasite, likely controlling the human. Carrie recognizes the attacker as Churchill's friend, presumed dead in the mine many years ago. He looks exactly the same as in the old photograph, as if time had no power over him. Meanwhile, Cam and Declan move through the corridor and realize that the Russian engineer's body has vanished. Soon they spot him walking ahead. Thinking they must have been mistaken and that he had merely lost consciousness, they decide to follow him. In another part of the cave, as Hunter carefully examines the corpse, she suddenly sees it spring back to life and grab Carrie by the throat. She strikes it, and the creature flees into the dark tunnel. Without hesitation, Hunter rushes after it, urging Carrie to follow. After all, she's a reporter and can't resist investigating the unknown. Despite his displeasure, Carrie follows her. Together, they make their way into the underground passage. Meanwhile, Cam and Declan enter a cave covered in slime. Looking closely, Cam realizes they are surrounded by the creature's eggs. Suddenly, a small leech-like monster attacks Declan and attaches itself to his back. The man immediately turns into a zombie. Cam fights off his former companion, but zombified Nikolai attacks him from another side, followed by another zombie emerging from the wall. At the same time, Hunter and Carrie, making their way through the tunnel, arrive at an underground river where they find the petrified corpse of a knight clad in gleaming armor. Deciding that the river might be their salvation and hoping to find an exit along the water, Carrie sets off to scout ahead. As soon as he disappears from view, the knight slowly turns his head toward Hunter. Meanwhile, Kennedy hastily assembles an improvised explosive device, hoping to blast a path through the debris. Annie doesn't fully understand the engineer's excitement, but supports her. Suddenly, Cam and Declan appear in front of the girls. Their movements seem sluggish, as if they are in a trance, and in their hands they are holding small leech-like creatures. Meanwhile, returning to the cave after scouting, Carrie finds both Hunter and the knight missing. As it turns out, the knight is carrying the unconscious girl to the altar, where he begins tying her to the stone with ropes. Others, who had also been trapped and turned into zombies, gather around. Regaining consciousness, Hunter tries to reason with those around her, but realizes that everyone, except Annie, is infected. Annie is only pretending to be one of them to survive and has no intention of risking herself to help Hunter. Once the crowd disperses, massive tentacles approach the tied-up Hunter, wrapping around her. Memories from a past life surface in her mind, where she is a queen on a stone throne. Before her stands Carrie in the role of a knight, screaming in pain as she demands a confession of love from him. Later, Hunter comes back to her senses and sees a creature with a female form and octopus-like tentacles looming over her. It beckons her, striving for complete submission, taking the shape of her father. Carrie brings Hunter back to reality by cutting the ropes. He urges her to hurry toward the river, but as they crawl through a narrow tunnel, the creature grabs Carrie and drags him away. Unwilling to abandon him, Hunter returns to the sacrificial hall and picks up a sword. The creature's voice continues to echo in her mind as zombified Cam attacks her. Fighting him off, she sees a glimpse of consciousness returning to his eyes. He begs her to remove the giant leech controlling him. Realizing he doesn't have much time left, Cam tells her about Kennedy's bomb, capable of destroying the creature, and asks Hunter to help him end his suffering. With tears in her eyes, she grants his request. Afterward, Hunter presses forward and encounters the knight, who intends to kill her. But she strikes first. In the corridor, she meets Annie and agrees to show her the way out. However, as soon as Hunter turns her back, her colleague knocks her out with a rock and orders Declan to lift the girl. Hunter regains consciousness before the altar, with Carrie tied up nearby. Annie confesses that she deciphered the inscriptions and decided to take the queen's place, offering sacrifices to the monster in hopes of gaining power and eternal youth. Tentacles begin to probe Hunter and Carrie. Suddenly, Hunter reveals the bomb, causing the zombies to retreat. She demands their release, threatening to blow up the entire cave. Terrified, Annie allows them to go, but Hunter activates the bomb before leaving. They manage to reach the river just before the explosion annihilates the creatures. The pair emerge outside at a waterfall, sealing their survival with a kiss. The most appealing aspect of this film is the heroine's outfits, or the lack thereof. The plot itself is banal, though it makes some clumsy attempts at originality. And for those hoping to get a good look at the unknown creature, it's better to turn to movies about sea dwellers.